gorgeous you. Welcome to Infinity Within Coaching Podcast. Our coaching conversation today is a realistic look at how you are celebrating you, how you are talking to you, how you are showing up for you. In the United States today, it is Thanksgiving Day, a day of counting blessings, being surrounded by friends and family, and feeling the love around you and within you, and pushing that out to the people around you, and just really having a blessed, beautiful day. And I am going to have a conversation with you where we try to push that out beyond just Thanksgiving Day. That we take a really good look at our self care, at our way of showing up for ourselves every single day, what our footprint to ourself actually looks like. Like that voice in our head. How are we talking to ourselves? How are we celebrating our small wins and our big wins? Is it only taking really big wins for us to celebrate ourselves? Or is it that we're celebrating all the small wins too? Are we setting boundaries around us that protect us, that give us the space that we need to breathe and have a calm, self loving nervous system and to accomplish the things that we want to accomplish in our life? As a recovering former codependent personality, I will be the first to tell you that giving away every bit of time and space and energy in servitude of those who you have in your life, and that could be family, friends, marriage, relationship, work, volunteering. If you are a codependent, you will know that you do not carve out much time or kindness for yourself because you feel insanely guilty about it. And it's very, very, very defeating, that guilt. It just shuts you down. There's so much shame and guilt in doing anything for yourself. In breaking free of my codependent, self-codependent toxic behaviors, one of the things that has been critical to my progress is taking a really strong look at my self-care and getting realistic with it. And today, I kind of paused and just let the day kind of weigh over me because my day started at 3 a.m. with being woken up by somebody in my home who discovered that there was a water line broken. So there was a flood that had flooded from the floor in the bathroom where the bathtub that's leaking is, down through to the next level of the home, the main level of the home, coming out fixtures in the pantry. So you can imagine a pantry that now has perfectly clean, albeit running water through, levels of the house. But by the time I got down there at 3 something in the morning, things are wet and it's a mess. And there were a few moments working this problem between 3:10-ish a.m. and 5 something a.m. before I got back to bed at 5:30 a.m. There were a few moments where it was hard not to give in to the old overwhelming, like, oh my God, how am I ever going to find a path forward through this? Is the entire wall and floor going to have to be pulled up to fix this old brass fixture for the clawfoot tub? How much money is this going to cost? How will I ever cross this bridge, right? Those what ifs. And I realized outside under a starry sky while I was looking for a step stool I knew was outside. I had to go find it in my bathrobe, trudging up with a tiny flashlight to find it up the driveway and cart it back to the house. And I focused on my breathing and I focused on dialing it back to how blessed am I? How amazing am I to be able to go, no, I don't know what the future is going to hold. All I know is that right now I need to mop up a whole bunch of water in my house, start drying out things in my pantry, remove the light fixture and the water drainage, set up buckets under those things, shut off the electricity there, turn off the hot water to the house. Luckily, I was able to do that and not lose all water to the house for the day. And as I started getting my head around just the logical order of working these problems, I started to feel the panic and the anxiety and the idea that I was not capable, the idea that I was invisible in my own life, the idea of that trauma coming in front of me of, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to get this fixed. Because that's not true. It's not true. You know, either you will always find a way forward if you choose to work the problem in front of you. And anyway, within a short time, that swirl, if you've ever had a PTSD, panic attack, anxiety attack, just overwhelming fear of moving forward, you will know that swirl that I'm talking about, that churning deep within you. And until you do enough work, those are out of control sometimes and they just go and they just carry you with them. But when you put in the work, the self-work over and over and over, and you keep showing up for you, you can actually recognize that feeling and you can choose not to feed it. And in the middle of the night, on a holiday morning, I chose not to feed it. I chose to just work the problem, and I chose to talk to myself in really positive ways. You are smart enough to work this problem. You will have money coming in. Money is abundant in your life. You are, not somebody who's going to allow the past to rule this moment. Fear is not going to live in you. And you are not invisible. And that's a whole different thing there that goes along with codependency and narcissistic abuse of being invisible in your own life. You're very visible. You're showing up for yourself. You're showing up for the family that lives here, your family. You are leading through this crisis of home without instability, panic, fueling the fire, freaking out and creating chaotic energy. So my self-talk immediately championed, soothed, and calmed me in a moment of crisis. That is not something that I learned at birth. That is not something that was bestowed upon me like many really emotionally connected, generationally healed families are capable of doing for their children when their children are born. That was foreign to me. And it has taken years of dedicated self-work and deep self-accountability with the right guides around me. And when I don't have the right guides around me, if the guide isn't challenging me, if the guide is not knowledgeable in a certain area, I will reach out for the tools to support me through an area of growth that my intuition and soul knows I need. I may not even know exactly what the growth area is, but I trust my body's energy when it is craving something more. I just start methodically searching in the direction that it is telling me to go. Now, when we are talking about how you talk to yourself, I'm going to have you in a moment just do a quick grounding exercise and have you get really real about your first couple of things that pop into your mind, just so you can kind of measure where you're at. Because if your bucket is pretty flowing over on self-care and self-love and self-recognition and self-awareness, you might be, pretty up there and like, hey, I'm feeling pretty okay and ready to conquer the day and the world. But if your bucket's pretty low and everything's just draining out of it as fast as something or anyone dumps good stuff into it, you might be at an area of, oh my God, I don't really even know what to think of myself. I've been there, putting my hand up. Well, that's sad to say, isn't it? Sad and good. It's good to be aware of the areas where you want to grow and change and develop. It is good and powerful to be realistic about those things. I don't want to fake it. I don't want to fake it. I want to be real in my life, and I want that for you because I know that's where you unlock your power. You unlock your true power of self and living the life that your soul is calling you to live. You unlock that power when you step into those spaces where you honor and cherish you. How can you expect somebody else to honor and cherish you if you don't know how to do it? I'm going to ask you to make a little cozy space. If you're driving, don't close your eyes, don't take your eyes off the road. But if you're in a space where you can just tune out the world around you and kind of reflect, you might even put up your stop sign hands. If you're in like if I were in a space where I've got kids coming into my room, my office and my room, I might just close my eyes, get comfortable, put my stop sign hands up so it alerts anybody coming in. This is my time in my space, and you don't get to interrupt that. No. No. So go ahead and get comfy. Take a deep cleansing breath and exhale. What do you think is the most beautiful thing about you? What is the most valuable resource about you? What is the most unique gift that you bring to other people? What do you appreciate most about you? What is it about you that you feel lights up? What is your gift that you give yourself and the world? Just a cleansing breath and let that out. And come back on to opening your eyes. Let your stop sign hands down. Just feel into the feelings that those questions may have unleashed. Are they happiness, gratitude? Do you feel glowing? Do you feel, I feel kind of like a glowing ember, just beautiful light. 6 months ago, 8 months ago, 24 months ago, 36 months ago, I would have felt pain, tears, frustration, confusion, even anger. I would have felt freaking visible. The growth that we experience is critical. It's critical for us to realize that we have growth to do. Even from what I answered those questions today to where I want to be, I have work to do. And I had pretty good responses today. No matter what your responses are, they're absolutely right. And I know that might sound really harsh. If you had no answer, if you had a confused answer or a painful answer, or this is too big, I can't do that as your answer, that's okay because it gives you a starting point. It gives you a starting point of an area to grow and build on. Your view of you sets the tone for every relationship that you will have in your life. If you want to experience healthy, beautiful, positive relationships, you have to have a healthy, beautiful, positive view of yourself and deem yourself worthy of calm energy, of calm love, of being seen. If you don't see yourself, nobody else is going to be able to see you in the way that your soul wants to be seen. It is critical for you to take an assessment of yourself. I encourage you to create a reminder that in 30, 60, 90 days, you redo this podcast and you see just how you answer these in self-care. What does self-care even look like? I'm going to be really honest. It's different depending on where you are at in your healing journey. The beginning of self-care for me literally looked like calming my nervous system just a smidge and getting more in touch with my body. And that was in carving out some time and space just for me. But as my healing developed and I changed and I grew into a more confident, more self-loving, more self-aware and self-accountable woman, my self-care changed with it. Your self-care needs to be dialed into wherever you are at in your journey, and that's going to be determined based on those answers that you just gave. Your self-care is going to possibly need things like boundaries. Boundaries are incredibly self-loving. You're going to need things like maybe doctor's appointments, or to prioritize therapy, or to prioritize learning more about a particular way to understand the trauma that you had and how to separate it from your mind, body, spirit, and soul and your nervous system. Because just because you had a traumatizing event doesn't mean it gets to own you for as long as you live. That's a choice. If we choose to give ourselves over to the trauma for every single day of our living, waking life on earth, that is our choice. But we don't have to live in that trauma just because other people around us refuse to grow with us. And how we believe ourselves to be worthy of change, how we believe ourselves to be worthy of more than what is being allowed at the table that we're sitting at. Just because other people choose not to grow with us doesn't mean we have to sell ourselves out and sell ourselves short of the life that we envision for ourselves. Your life is going to be as big and powerful and energetic and beautiful as you imagine, or it's going to be as filled with fear and trauma as you know that it is and as you imagine. It takes new thoughts to create new habits and to build new pathways to a new life. Talking to yourself on a daily basis, I am worthy of therapy. Affirmations that are just so freaking basic. I am worthy of a new shirt. I am worthy of going on this trip. I am worthy of laughing. I am worthy of taking up space in the world. I am worthy of taking up space in my day. And I don't mean that in an arrogant, egotistical, ugly way. I mean that is that if you were severely traumatized and ended up going through life with codependent tendencies, you are going to shrink to other dominant personalities and you're going to try to mold yourself into becoming something that pleases them, that shows up for them, that chooses them. And what I'm asking you to do is to say, fuck no to that, and dial back and go, my soul was born for a reason. It was born to shine as it is, Just by the very fact that I was born, I have a right to be more. I have a right to be seen. I have a right to chase my dreams and to realize my dreams despite other people's feelings about it. Your passion and footprint in the world is valuable. And how you show up for you is going to determine how far you take that passion and how you unleash it and share it with the world. So on that short exercise that we did, very random words probably popped into your head. I would possibly just pause the tape right now and jot those down. Jot those down with the date and time stamp and create those reminders so that you come back to this podcast, or that you at least go back to those questions and you do that quick burst exercise again in the future. And that you look at over the course of time, is your self-care routine improving? Is it being more genuine and authentic to you? Or are you struggling? Are there some things that are still not falling into place for you? And then let's get gritty real. Why is that? When something doesn't fall into place for me, I have to take a really strong look at what I'm not doing for me. I'm not showing up for me in some way, shape, or form. And that's why that desired outcome isn't happening. So how can you adjust your days to show up for you more and in ways that are going to increase or change the words that just popped into your mind? And we would want to change any negative words or words that demeaned your self-power, words that negated your role in your own life. Because you were born to be powerful. You were born to share your light and energy in whatever way that is. If you're an artist, it's to create art. If you are a contractor, it's to use your craft to the best of your ability to help others and to bring prideful income to your family, gainful income that you can be proud of because it's legal and healthy and brings joy to other people and safety to other people. Contractors are popping in my mind right now because obviously I'm going to be calling one with my plumbing problems in that clawfoot tub. Your vision of who you want to be is really valuable. And when you look at that vision of who you want to be, if your self-talk, if your self-thoughts, if the way that you silently think about yourself, if the way that you put together your day is not reflective of that person, how can we bridge the gap to get you at least, let's just say 2 steps closer to that person that you are wanting to be? A great example here would be if you were to pause this and go listen to let's just random number, my 4th podcast. I have no idea right off the top of my head what it's even about, but it would be filled with pain. It would be filled with confusion and pain, and there would be a well of self-abandonment being expressed. Years and years and years of codependent behavior of myself that had attracted really toxic relationships that were very harmful to myself and my children in many ways. And I had yet to do the level of work to be able to understand my own role in those toxic relationships. It's all fine and dandy to say it's all the other person, but why did we stay? Why were we still there? It filled some kind of a void in us. And that's a hard thing to understand. I was unable to change that pattern or even my understanding of it until I simply accepted that my self care, my self talk was very ugly, very negative, very shameful, from definite position of fear. Isn't that disgusting? If we think about our children, our grandchildren, our best friend, do we want to talk to our best friend from a position of fear? Do we want to go to our best friend? Oh, you can't do that because it's just like, well, so scary, and you don't want to do that. That would be really terrifying. But we talk to ourselves that way. We let our subconscious treat us as though fear is, the best dish being served at Thanksgiving dinner. We eat from the plate of fear without any thought. And what I'm asking you to do is be really mindful and present in how you talk to yourself and how you treat yourself. Give into some of those wants, needs, and desires that you have. And I'm not saying this is a blessing to go out and, fall back into addictive things. That is not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that if you are, if you've had a really rough day and you don't want to visit with people, don't answer the phone. That's very self-loving. Set a boundary around you. Like, hey, I went to therapy today. I'm going to be off limits from everybody for the rest of today. On the anniversary of, this is a real story, on the anniversary of my own child's death, I let everybody around me know this is a pretty tender day for me and I'm not going to be available for much. And if that's not going to be okay for you, then, well, that's just your problem. That has nothing to do with me. Prioritize showing up for yourself. At the end of this recording soon, I want you to, like, here's your homework. It's easy homework. I want you to Google, or Hey Siri, or Hey Alexa, check out ways that you can prioritize you, ways that you can give yourself self-care, because it's customizable to where you're at in your journey. Remember those words that just popped up? That is actually what you want to work on. You want to start there. You starting where I'm at in my journey of self-care and self-love and self-abundance is like really just going to be toxic for you. Just as where you're at would be toxic for me. My journey is not yours, and your journey is nobody else's. It is individual to you. And what I would ask you to do is right after we end this, I want you to just take 2 minutes to 10 minutes and Google self-care ideas or words of affirmation, or choose one of those words that popped into your mind. How do I not feel this? How do I grow if I feel this? Read some articles. Go to Psychology Today. Type that into Psychology Today. Fabulous, fabulous free resource right there for you. psychologytoday.com. This amazing resource, and you can search and have the best of the best come back with their ideas on it. Okay? So that is your homework for today. You got to get real with yourself. Okay? This quick little coaching conversation is about getting real with yourself, growing in the areas where you're dissatisfied with you. Now, if you're dissatisfied with the relationships around you, again, that's going to begin with you. If you want better relationships around you, create a more accountable, more self-loving, more persistent to the success of your own self-view. And you will begin to see an improvement in every relationship around you. And you will see some of those relationships go away, because not every relationship even family, is meant to travel with you through every moment of every day for the rest of your life. You are meant, you were born with an independent individual light, and you are meant to ignite that light into a bursting supernova. And when you start to feel the tremors of that supernova, you will know that you are serving your purpose well. Happy Thanksgiving, gorgeous, glorious, beautiful you. Thank you for choosing to show up today. Thank you for investing in you. The energy that you bring to this space builds both of us. I appreciate everything that you do and all the work that you do. And I feel the energy beginning to just bustle, right? That's all we can do. We can turn the dial towards ourselves and our own work a little bit, because then that creates a healthier energy. The more self-accountable that we are, the more self-loving that we are, the more righteous to our soul's purpose that we are, the healthier that vibration that we put into the world, the more healing and loving the energy that we put into the world is. Healthy, loving, beautiful, soulful relationships through every layer of your life, I hope, is somewhere in your goal system. And it begins with you. And it is mastered by how you care and love you. And remember, if you were not taught that, if you were not taught emotional regulation, if you were not taught to physically, spiritually, mentally, healthily reach out for help when you need it, then you have to grab out for help now. And you have to follow the inspiration that your soul is giving you and your intuition is giving you to heal. Whatever the healing needs may be at this moment. And again, they won't be the same if you do the work. They will not be the same 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. Okay? All right, beautiful souls. Thank you guys for joining me on this powerful coaching conversation. I know what I'm going to Google, and I'm excited about it because I know the next level of me. And it really is to embrace and embody the power that my soul is just vibrating out of me. And I am excited about bringing that to you guys and the programs that are being developed and that will be launched in like a month and a half, right? Mid-January, there's going to be some really amazing things coming. And I need to keep dialing into my self-work so that I am healthy enough physically and spiritually and mentally, emotionally to bring those things forward with the full delivery to help people grow and heal and get freaking honest with themselves. That's what it's about. Stop the self-abandonment and choose you. Set those boundaries. Say no. Choose a bubble bath. Get the sleep that you need. Get the healthy exercise that you need. That is something that's missing in my life right now, simply because of injuries. Injuries are what they are, and they steal some things from us. But we can still do the best that we can do in those time frames, and we can be aware of that defunct so that when somebody points it out to us, it isn't hurtful. We can simply say, you're right, and I have a plan to get back on track. And then action that plan as your body allows you to. We are only limited in our own mind and self-belief system. And you don't have to play into the fear and limitations that you were taught in your life or that you were made to succumb to. Because your soul is not about being held in a cage. Okay, gorgeous. Happy Thanksgiving. You've got your homework. And I am so freaking proud of you. Keep up the good work. And I will see you next week.